Welcome back, folks. This is Athletes Incorporated. Check us out on ibtv.us, Roku TV, and YouTube. Comment and subscribe. This is my co-host, Harold Johnson. I'm Trey. This is our second segment, and we're talking everything about March Madness. I know you watching all the games. Every time I come to your house, you've got all the games on. What do you got for us?
Well, folks, the big thing is, just as I was talking to someone, across the country about how the seeding goes and that a number 16 would never beat a number 1, we have University of Baltimore beat not just the number 1 seed in the region, but the number 1 seed in the tournament, University of Virginia. So how great for those kids, and how great for college basketball. Then the next one we have come in, which is the Cinderella that I would like to see win, is University of Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, and they're waiting on Nevada. They play today. They're waiting on Nevada or Cincinnati. They could easily beat either of these teams.
That could make it, but we're seeing buzzer beaters. I mean, kids it's really something. They made a big deal out of before before Virginia lost. The big deal was Arizona losing. But now that's to the wayside. A lot of people don't understand, and you hear people calling for a man's job because the team lost to a low seed. That's why you play the game.
Exactly.
You never know what's going to happen. And when you're talking about a team playing another team from not just a different league, but from a different part of the country, you don't know what you might run into. You might run into a buzzsaw, and by the time your kids understand, hey, this is something, it's too late, and the other team is rolling.
And folks, this isn't a 7-game series. This is one game. Anything can happen in one game. Okay?
One game.
So that's what I love about it. What has been your favorite game so far?
Seeing the kids from Loyola. They have the little lady who's the team pastor. She's 98 years old. And giving a prayer before the game and telling them they can win.
And folks, just so you know, Loyola is a Catholic school. So if you don't know that, Loyola is a Catholic school.
Folks, we got the Catholics. It might be, it's something. Villanova's Catholic school. Loyola's Catholic school. Gonzaga's a Catholic school.
Didn't know that.
Seton Hall just lost. That's a Catholic school. These Catholic folks are really putting it together. But then we have what they call the Blue Bloods are still in it. Duke, Kansas, and Kentucky are still in it. So Michigan State, which I would say is one of the Blue Bloods. But you have just teams that are coming, playing hard. West Virginia is a hard team to beat. Their defense is relentless, but they run into Villanova, who is just as big, just as strong, just as fast,
more talented.
They
have more talent on the floor. Who do you like? Who's your favorite team? Who do you think, if you were a betting man, who would you pick to win?
I'm saying Villanova's going to win.
Okay.
I'm saying Villanova's going to win. It could very well end up what you're saying, Villanova and Kentucky.
Folks, I think it's going to be Villanova and Kentucky. And really what it comes down to is, at all times, no matter who they play, Kentucky has the best 5 players on the floor at all times. And they can turn it up when they want to, and they can slow it down when they want to.
But that'd be arguable, folks, if they play Villanova. The reason I say Villanova will beat Kentucky is I think talent-wise they're as good. I think coach from Villanova is a better coach than Calipari. And I also believe that because Villanova is older. They have older players. These kids are one of
This would be their back-to-back.
So this is these kids that Calipari is counting on to win the championship were playing in high school state championships last year. And I think that's going to come, even though they can bring they can bring it. But we can't forget, man, that kid from Duke. My God.
Duke's rolling.
You can put him on his back. If they can keep the kid from kicking people and tripping
Grayson Allen.
If Grayson Allen doesn't lose his mind and really plays well, he's the only senior. Everybody else is freshmen.
I didn't know that.
So if he stays on the floor and does what he's supposed to and lead the field, Duke has a really good chance. But still, man, this would be the best chance for Gonzaga. I don't know if they can do it, but this would be a chance with all these upsets coming. This would be a good chance from them. And still, the story for Chicago Loyola is just a great story.
Well, let's get right to it. Gonzaga's waiting on Florida State and Xavier today in Nashville.
That's going to be Xavier.
So you got Xavier. So you got Xavier playing Gonzaga.
Yeah.
So do you think Gonzaga can beat Xavier?
That's going to be a real good. Xavier's another Catholic school.
Yeah, I know that.
So, the two Catholics will have to battle it out. For that, I would pick Gonzaga. And the reason I would pick Gonzaga is because their coach is really, wow, he's really something.
So we got that Elite Eight right there. So you're going to have Gonzaga right here. Texas A&M and North Carolina wins.
Yes.
North Carolina beats Michigan, so it's Gonzaga and North Carolina.
Yeah.
So that game,
wow,
I think North Carolina.
But don't be surprised if Texas A&M wins. Texas A&M has some really big players, folks. I mean, they've got size.
Yeah. I didn't realize how big they were, and that's another thing I love about March Madness is you get to watch all the teams that you wouldn't regularly watch. So that's another cool thing.
And you see some of the size on these kids that can really move, and then you see where people were talking about someone as the second coming. There were people that were saying that the big man from Arizona was the best big man in 30 years.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Right.
When your team gets beat by 20 points and you're down in the hole, you can protect that rim. That's like when Anthony Davis, he said everybody else get theirs. No one is going to come in. No one's going to get anything if I don't score a point. So, you really get to see what big men really can do. Everyone is trying to say guard. Right. That's true to a certain point. But when we see this stuff come down to the end and those threes aren't dropping and you can't get to the rim,
it's physicality. And that's why West Virginia's great.
Yes.
Because they got boys down in that hole that are ready to die for it.
Right.
Going more on the east side of things, there's Duke, and today we've got Syracuse and Michigan State.
Syracuse is done. Syracuse didn't really deserve to be in it, as we know. They got in because they're Syracuse.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of Jimmy Boeheim anyway, but they'll be dispatched easily.
Right. So then you got Duke coming up here. Now you got Kansas waiting on Clemson and Auburn today. It don't matter. I see the Elite Eight, Kansas and Duke. Who do you got?
Yeah. That's going to be a great game.
That's the game.
Now, the thing is, I think Duke has more talent.
They do.
Duke has more talent than...
But I think Kansas, their one player, is better than all of those players. I forget his name. He's a senior, though.
Yeah.
He's a really
so
good kid.
If he has a good game and he puts them on his back, they'll do well. We know Mike Krzyzewski is a better coach than Kansas. Is it... I forget his name, but he's a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
But I've seen him be outcoached before.
Right.
So right at the end game, it's like playing chess. At the end game, he can't quite make that move. So I would say Duke will probably end up beating Kansas. That's going to be wow. That'll be great. And then we move to who would be the next?
So the next thing is Villanova's waiting on West Virginia and Marshall today. West Virginia wins that game and plays Villanova.
Yeah.
Villanova, I think they beat West Virginia. Right. Then you've got Texas Tech waiting on Butler and Purdue today. Purdue was a great team. That big boy down broke his elbow in his last game, so that really kind of threw him.
I had Purdue perhaps making the Final Four, but now Butler probably should get by them.
Butler should get by them.
And that makes it a lot easier game for Texas Tech.
Right.
Which Texas Tech is making a great run here in the thing because Houston should have beat them.
Yep.
Houston had all those looks, all those free throws, and like Coach Sam said, he said, we had our chance. The kids just right at the end did not. And he didn't say the kids didn't blame it on him. He said, we had our chance. We just didn't do what we needed to do right at the end of the game.
So we're going to bring this to a close a little bit. Who do you got in the national championship game?
I have Kentucky playing Villanova.
You got Kentucky, but I've got Kentucky.
That's not who I want, but that's...
I've got Kentucky playing Villanova too, folks, and I actually have Kentucky beating Villanova.
Yeah, and
I've got Kentucky beating Villanova.
I have Villanova winning because I think Trey thinks they have better players. I think Villanova has better players because they're older and they're stronger. You might have the supreme athleticism on Kentucky, but they're still a little lightweight. Mm-hmm. You got some men playing for Villanova, and you still have some kids playing for University of Kentucky. So we'll see. This is going to be great. And then of course next week, folks, as we close out, we'll bring more to you about the women's national basketball tournament, which we already know
UConn every
UConn's
year,
gonna win, which was a terrible thing. I thought that they beat a team by 89 points. That's unnecessary. But listen, great. We're going to come back for a third segment and talk about some controversial stuff that's been going on this week. See you in a moment.